So this trip to London has been a surprise, but one thing is certain, it is not a surprise for God. In fact, when I had to leave the Schengen zone, the mainland Europe countries, unexpectedly, I was confident that God had a purpose. And obviously this trip for me is about going for the one and allowing God to point out the ones to me and asking Him to, reveal who those people are. And I had an encounter with a man on a train. He was homeless and he was quite humble in the way that he was asking for money. And before he even walked up, I knew that I was supposed to give him some money. And long story short, without going into all the details, all I had was a 20-pound bill on me. And I asked him what he needed. He said a job. He said if I'd give him the 20, it would cover 3 nights in the shelter and a hot shower and food. And I asked him if I could pray with him, and he said, and then he said, okay. And when I pray with people in public, I don't do like an awkward close your eyes kind of thing. I just look them in the eyes and I bless them, and I say, God is for you, He's with you, He sees you, He knows you, whatever I feel led to say to that person. And afterwards he told me that he'd been begging for money for 2 days, and all he was trying to do was raise 10 pounds. And the day before, he had raised 6. And this day at 5 p.m. was the first day that anyone had given him money. And that was me. And I gave him money, and I gave him enough for shelter and food. And I spoke to him about God. And he told me that 10 minutes prior to meeting me, he was cursing God. And he said, and then you showed up. And I said, but what does that mean to you? Does that mean you think that God is real and He's pursuing you? Because that's what I believe it means. I gave him my card. I invited him to church. He wasn't in headspace to come with me at that point because I was on my way to church. But he said, I'm going to call you because I want to talk to you about God. And I walked away from that experience and I thought, if the little tiny obedience that I had to just follow that prompting, to give him money, to talk to him, to hear his story, if the little obedience was simply about one thing, allowing this man to turn his posture from disdain, cursing God, angry at God, to a place of wonder where he looks and says, whoa, maybe there is a God. Who is this God? That is my goal, and that's something really simple we can all do. So I just want to encourage you to say that, sometimes our obedience just is helping people see the wonder of God and ask and just stand in awe of Him. It's like standing next to a mountain or a beautiful ocean. It's like you can't help but wonder who God is. And so anyway, I just want to share that story with you. His name is Thomas on a train. Please pray for him. Pray that he continues to see God at work all around him and that He's for him and He hasn't left him alone in a season where he's depressed and jobless and homeless. But let's continue to pray for Thomas. Many blessings, friends.